Okay, we're going to be designing a rear suspension A-arm for a Baja SAE vehicle. We're talking about the red parts that are in here. Perhaps you can see the A and the A-arm name right here. You can see the letter A with the cross member right there. So let's get started. It's going to be looking like this at the end, but well, you can see I have some defects over here. So let's just start over. So starting a new part, I'm going to go ahead and right click on the front plane and let's look perpendicular to or normal to that surface. Let's set some boundaries about how big this A-arm can be. So I'm going to draw a horizontal reference line right there. This is a center line. I'm going to hit escape so I can draw another parallel line at an arbitrary distance over here, maybe snapping it into position like so. And hitting escape again, I can set the distance between those two to be anything I want. Let's start off just by saying it's going to be 175 millimeters. That's the units that I'm using for this project. All right, so that's a good start. Let's go ahead and I guess draw a perpendicular between those two, so it'll run in between the A, and we'll draw this A upside down. So let's get that center line, and maybe we go to the midpoint of this one, to the midpoint of that one, just to make sure it's perpendicular. All right, let's zoom in on that just a little bit like so, and let's draw that the A. And we'll make it perhaps, I guess maybe, make it look like it's, way off like that. That's not necessarily how it's going to look, but we can make that symmetric if we want to. Now, if your team decides to make an A-arm that's off-centered like that, that's perfectly fine. But what you can do is select this piece, hold the Shift key down, and select that one right there, and say that they're going to be equal in lengths. And you can see that it kind of worked out the symmetry for you. So another trick you can do is if you click on all three of these, it'll ask you, do you want to make this symmetric about that axis right there? But it was already that way, but it's good regardless. Next thing we need to have is a crossbar. So let's kind of snap into the midpoint there and snap into the midpoint here. You don't necessarily have to do that for your project. You can actually have the A-arm much further toward the vertex, or you can have it further away. I'm just going to do that for simplicity. Now let's see how we can make this into a pipe, because right now it's just a line. So in order to do that, I think what we got to do is exit sketch, and then we need to find a plane perpendicular to that point so we can make a pipe that just goes along this upside down A. In order to do that, you go over here to features and then geometry. Now, if you don't see plane here, make sure that you've exited the sketch. But go over here, you'll see plane, and it's going to need two references from which to draw that plane. I'm going to say I want it to be perpendicular to this, and I want it to be out here on the end. You can see it says select the second reference over here. And you see that once I select that, it's now drawing a perpendicular plane there. And what I can do is right click and go over here to rotate view, and I can kind of come around and look at this and see that, yep, I got basically a plane that's perpendicular to that one leg of the A. I like that, so I'm going to click the green check mark, and then I'm going to draw a circle up here. So let's get a sketch. And I think the size of these pipes that we were discussing in class, smart to mention this thing here. I think we were having 17.6 is the diameter of that in millimeters. We recenter that. So you can see that circle is right here. I could actually maybe do it like that so you can get a closer look, or I could also orbit around so you can see that perhaps a little bit better. All right, it's time to draw that pipe and see how it looks. So we're going to go over here to features, and we're going to say swept boss base. And you see that once I select that option, it says, well, what shape do you want the pipe to be? And I say I want it to be circular. Oops, I think I looked at the wrong thing there. Didn't mean to do that. And hopefully that's the blue thing that we see here. And then for the reference, we really want it to go along that whole shape. I hope it goes through the whole thing like that. Hit the green check mark, see if that works. I must have did something wrong. Someone is going to exit out of that again and try it one more time. Being careful to select the circle. Let's see if I get that right there. And then for the second object, I'm going to select that. Hopefully it selects the whole sketch when I do that, but it only did one. So let me pause the video and see what I did wrong right there. Okay, for some reason, it would allow me to have the pipe go along that direction. Maybe I can figure that out another time, but for now, I'm just going to go back to this swept boss space, and I'm going to select the circle, make sure it's orange right there. And then it's asking me to select the path. If I selected all three of these right here, it had an issue with that when I went like this. So let's see if we just select only just the V instead of the A. And it looks like it allowed us to do that. So this cross member, we'll have to figure out another way to do it. There's a couple of ways. I think what we can do is probably, yeah, let's just do the same kind of thing we did before. Let's select a plane that's down here. This plane's kind of in the way now that I've used it. So I'm going to go and right click on the plane and then just say hide by clicking the eye with the cross through it. All right, now hopefully I can go back to the sketch that I was working on. I don't think that's it. There it is right there. It's got the cross member on there. Let me zoom in and I'm going to select a plane that's out here now. So in order to do that, we go back over to features and geometry and reference geometry, select plane. And it says, I really want some references. So one thing I noticed is that my crossbar there on the A was invisible. So I went back to my sketch, right click and make sure I show that. So that way I can find a perpendicular to that area. All right, so then we're going to go to find a plane. And we're going to say our first reference is this, and that's the other reference like that, just like we did before. I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I'm doing right in that area. I'm going to draw a circle on that. Maybe I can also pan around so that you can see, or orbit around rather, so you can see what I'm about to do here. I like that plane, so I'm going to put a sketch on there, circle, and make it too big just so you can see that with the smart dimension, we're going to scale it down to be the size of the other pipe, which is 17.6 millimeters. And then at this point, that's fully defined. It looks like now we can go back over here and perhaps do the swept boss base. And it says select the shape that you're going to follow. And here's the path that it's going to follow. We want to follow it all the way over there. And hopefully we get lucky. It doesn't seem like it highlighted. Let me try that again. Maybe that's good. And then looks good. All right, so then we can hide this other plane now that we're there. And look at the full part. Like that right there. All right. Let me pause the video just for a second. Now, when I face this part, right click like that, you see I have a little bit sticking up there. I'm going to have a pipe up here and a pipe up here. It's going to overlap that, but I think this is way too much material right there. And I think we saw that in my previous sketch right here. This is going way beyond where we need it to go. Let's see if there was a problem on this end as well. Not so much. So maybe we just, shave off this point over here. So going back over to the part I've been working on, and let's just make a plane right down here and take the rest of that off. So again, the way we do that is going over here to features, reference geometry, plane. We want it to be along that line. And also, I believe, let's see, I really think we should have used, actually, I probably should have used this line here. Yeah, so let me just start over on that. Oops. So I really should have selected this line because I want the perpendicular to be down here. And then the second reference point is going to be this one. And so you can't really tell that there's a plane there until perhaps you orbit around and you go, oh yeah, that's the part I want to cut off there. And I like that. And I can really just put any shape I want to out there. It could be a circle or a square, and we're just gonna, cut that part off. So I'm gonna put a circle out here like so. And I'm going to go back over here to features and say extrude cut. And let's see which way it's trying to go. It's probably trying to cut into the part. Yeah, I don't want it to do that. I want to go the other way. So we'll do a flip and see if that moves to the other side. Actually, I don't think that's it. It's right up here. This is changing the direction. It's going that way. It's not going to cut all of it off. So I'm just going to put 50 in there to make sure it absolutely cuts all that off. And then click OK. And let's see how it looks. Let's go ahead and hide this plane number 3. Orbit around a little bit. And it looks like I cleaned up my mess a little bit. Now I just need to put the pipes in there and I'm good to go. All right, so let's set up a pipe that's going to be right there. So let's see here. I guess what we'll do again is select a plane that's down there. So we're going to go geometry and see if we can put a plane that's going to be here and reference that point right there. That's not really what I was looking for. Let me see if I can orbit around to see why that's not really what I'm looking for. Yeah, it's just not facing the right direction. So I think it's because I clicked a little bit too high there. So let's try again. And maybe I can zoom in on that area to get that circle in the right direction. So geometry, plane, I want it to be here and I want it to be there. Okay, now that still does not look right. Let me double check. Or is it right? Actually, I think it is right. I zoom way back here. It's just that plane is so big. And perhaps there is a way to make the plane smaller, but that's really what I wanted. Let's go down here and let's just zoom in on that part right there. And let's like that plane and take the sketch. Oh, I forgot to save my plane. Where did that plane go? Okay, so maybe I can say, make it visible. Is that the right one? I think I lost the plane. So let me pause the video and get it back. Well, I'll just take you through the process. So let's go do that again, geometry, plane, and hopefully I can hit the center of that. I don't think I'm really close enough. So orbit around, make sure that when I go back and select that center piece right there, hopefully I'm selecting it. Oh, I gotta uncheck that. There we go. All right, so there's the piece. Going back over here to sketch, and I think I gotta say I like that. Then go and make that circle right here. This is the one we also want to be the 17.6, like that. And if I zoom in on this, you can see that what I can do is take that and extrude it in both directions. So I'm going to say extrude like that. And I think we were working on 10 millimeters in class, but then we want to extrude it both directions. So if I just do this, you'll see that it only goes this direction. I'm going to say direction 2 also, so it goes back in that direction by an amount of 10 as well. All right, and then clicking on OK, and let's just see how that looks. Maybe it didn't quite go out far enough, maybe not quite far enough. So you can always edit the boss right there, the boss, and maybe make it 15 instead. And let's see if that looks better. That previous one was, cutting into the A a little bit. That might actually be okay. So I'm going to go over here, orbit around. It looks pretty good. Just need to drill a hole through there so that our rod can fit through there. So let's do that. I think we can just go and do a extrude cut. And then we need to sketch. We want to do it on this plane right here. Oh, wait, I didn't click the center of it. Well, I think I might be okay because it was the plane that I previously defined. So we'll do it that way. So going back over here, exit sketch, we're going to do a cut. And so it says select a plane. I really want to select this one. I don't know if it's going to let me do that or not. And I want that circle right there. Looks like it worked. And I want that to be our 13.6. That's the hole that we want to put through there. And let's make sure that we now go back to features. I guess we're still doing the cut. So maybe we click on exit sketch and it says, how deep do you want that to be? And I think since we did 15 and 15, I think the cut needs to be all the way through at 30, like that. And let's make sure that makes a hole. And there it is. That looks pretty good. Now keep in mind, I'm gonna have to weld that, eventually when we make this. But for now, that looks pretty good. Let's do the same thing on this other side. And then right down into that area. This is always a good tool to use when you're going right there. I wonder if I can just say, go ahead and define my geometry and put a plane right there that's along my center line that I defined previously. All right. Okay, so I don't know why it would say I selected more than one. Oh, it's saying that I was selecting a plane. Okay, so I guess I got to make sure that this one right here needs to be this guy, and this one down here needs to be a point. And I think it kind of like that. It looks weird though. So when all else fails, just back up. It doesn't look exactly right. We're going to try it again. My first reference is this line. My second reference is that point right there. You can orbit around to make sure that looks okay. Oh yeah, that's actually, yeah. And as you see, half of it sliced through there. Put a circle on there after we agree to that. And we want that circle to be, as always, for most of this stuff, 17.6. And that's now fully defined, I thought. Still blue for some reason. Let's see if I go over here and extrude it in both directions, going 30. I really want to go just 15 in one direction. And direction number 2, I also want to go 15. It seemed to be working pretty well. And then if I like that, looks pretty good. Orbit around. Fit the part. And then of course it went in way too far away. That's what I'm looking for. Let's drill a hole. So let's do an extrude cut. Let's find a plane. Okay, I think I've got too much going on. So I'm gonna hit exit sketch, try it one more time, select this plane, draw that circle right in the middle, pull this out here, smart dimension, 13.6. And let's go ahead and I think we have to say, I agree to that dimension. And then hopefully we're doing the cut next. So is it doing that? I think so. And let's see if that looks good. We can orbit around, make sure the hole goes all the way through. You can look through there and see the other pipe that we're about to draw. So let's go do that one. Same thing. Getting really good at drawing these planes out in space using this as my first reference line, and then selecting this as the other. And I think it's because I had other things selected that it does that. So I should probably try to unselect things before I do these planes like that. I like that plane, and I want to do a cut that's a circle that's right here, that's properly dimensioned. 17.6. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, that's right. Actually, right. 17.6. That's the outer diameter. And we're going to extrude that in both directions. So extrude. And yeah, I hope I didn't pick cut yet, because I really wasn't supposed to do that. I need to do some extruding, 15 millimeters in both directions. And then we're also going to do our cut. And oh, it says select a plane. I think I selected the wrong thing right there. You got to pause right there when it selects that thing in orange. So let's try that again. We're going to do a cut. It says select the face. I don't like that. So maybe I'll select it first. Oh, I don't know. Let's do extrude cut. I'll just exit the sketch completely and start over here. There we go. Now, hopefully I'm on the right track. Try to draw a circle right there for my cut. And you'll remember this, 13.6. Hope I get all of those consistent this time. I like that dimension. We're going to make sure that we're going to go and cut that, and we need to cut it all the way through. And I think we are, oh, not 13, 30. And I think we're actually done with the first draft. Now, one of the things we should probably do is, since we're going to put these on cylinders, is we want to put a little chamfer right there. So I'm going to do a 1 millimeter chamfer right there, and I'm going to let you do the rest of them. The place where you want these to be, see if I can get the right view here. There we go. All right, so you can hide some of these planes, make it look pretty. Oh, that one right there. And plane number 6, we can hide that. And number 5, hide that one. Okay, it's looking pretty good. I wonder if that will give me a closer view. Sure enough. And so you really want to chamfer, this end of the pipe, that end, this end, that end. So basically 6 of the openings, you want there to be a nice transition from the outer to the inner, just so that the pipe can more easily be guided through the center line that you see here. All right, hope this helps with the project. You'll be uploading this to D2L. Good luck.